What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Sound Stage here, presented by NLFX. My name is Kyle. I'm here with the one and only Erik Massengale. Erik, how we doing today, man?
Yo, thanks for having me. What's up?
Not a ton, man. Just like I said, just enjoying the weather that we got rolling out here right now. Um, it's about 60-mile-an-hour winds overnight. We're out of
Nice
power
and
for a while, so
blizzardy. Yeah, nice
yeah,
and light
almost
morning.
almost had to cancel the meeting we had today, but luckily came on about 20 minutes ago, so
That's
we're all
fun.
good, man. So Erik, love having people on here, especially with different perspectives and all that sort of thing. So yours is a little bit different of a perspective than we normally have with DJs. Some come on and they're very dedicated working DJs doing single ops, doing clubs, all that sort of thing. You're a little bit of a different animal on what you do. So how did you get all wrapped up in the whole DJ scene, man?
So my dad was a DJ when I was born, and I didn't latch onto it from that. I didn't actually even really notice
Yeah.
until
Okay.
when I graduated high school. I used to be, you know, like a weed dude, basically chilling 24/7, no plans of anything. And I saw a YouTube video of DJ Craze, and I was like, "Yo, that is sick!" I had extra money, and just was like, I got a pair of turntables. My cousin actually randomly helped me buy my turntables, and I just started practicing and landed a bar gig at a hookah bar, and it kind of went from there. It was super random. It had nothing to do with my dad, honestly. He had stopped DJing at that point, um,
Mm-hmm.
but because my dad had been a DJ for so long and like made a name for himself, a lot of the club dudes in the area were like, "Oh, you're him, you're his kid," and it was like a
Oh
good
yeah,
way
yeah.
I could just start the conversation.
Gotcha. It's kind of a foot in the door kind of a thing.
Yeah. And then I did your, $200-$300, whatever, $100, $150 bar gigs, small club gigs for I'm not exactly sure how long, a handful of years. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think I started taking it for real when I was like 25.
Okay.
And I was like 18 or 19 at the time here. So that
Sure.
um my friend one day came over, and he was going to DJ a wedding, needed a place to stay because he was from out of town, and it came up he was making $800 for the wedding, and I was like, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You millionaire.
yeah. I was literally like, I couldn't even wrap my head around it. It was so wild, and it never
Yeah.
clicked, and I was always like, "Oh, wedding DJs are lame." And that was the extent
Yeah.
of the thought. I don't want to be that. That's lame. This is cool, and I want to be famous, kind of thought. Um, and uh, and honestly, that buddy of mine, he's like notoriously a moron. In the friend group, I'd say that to his face all day. I'm not talking behind his
Sure.
back, but
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I quit smoking weed forever ago at this point, so I was like real on point with my brain at this point. I didn't realize that I was like a tech guy until after I quit doing drugs. Weird.
That's
but
silly.
yeah,
That usually doesn't happen, but
yeah, but so once my brain was working, and I was like, man, that's awesome, and I want to do that. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, lent me like $700 to buy some speakers and take a stab at it. I was already really plugged in, just a popular person in my area in
yeah,
general, just
people know
from
your name.
just from DJing and
Yeah.
just being in music and whatever. I played drums in bands and shit. But so I was able to get, friend weddings pretty easily off the bat. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I met Byron Gunter online. Uh, and he was doing the multi-op thing. I wanted what he had, specifically him. I was like, I like how he does it.
Okay.
And he was friendly enough to me to invite me up to Ohio and like shadow him and figure it out. Um, During this, I had already gotten DJ Event Planner, but he kind of was like, "Oh, you should use DJ Event Planner. It's what we use." And I fell down the rabbit hole of DJ Event Planner at that time, which is like my first couple months DJing weddings. So I was like already on DJ Event Planner. Um, and things just really took off pretty quickly. Basically, we had 4 DJs the first year.
Yeah.
But the multi-op was what I wanted from the start, though. The
Gotcha.
game plan was never keep DJing. I wanted to
Yeah.
stop DJing as fast as possible so that I could build quicker and not focus on that part.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's really where I was going with, like, hey, you're a totally different animal than everybody else. Because everybody else that I've talked to, even the ones that run, multi ops with, 2, 4, 8 other DJs, they're still kind of the headliner. They're still the ones that go
Definitely.
out all
It's
the
a
time.
different approach. Like Janai and Bun, I would say that they're the face of the company.
Yeah.
And I do have a semi-popular online presence in the DJ world, but client-wise, it's not like that. They don't
Right.
know.
Yeah. 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 Oh yeah, for sure. Your name is definitely known, but I think it's more known because you do it so much differently, in
Right.
my opinion. Um,
You're probably right, maybe. But either way, DJ world,
yeah.
yes, I know, people know Erik Massengale, but like our clients wouldn't always know that,
Right. Yeah.
that's not
So so that's funny. In the industry, you're known, but you're not known in your own market for the DJing,
right.
which
Well,
is
it sets it honestly to begin with. The first 2 years that I was taking, 50, 80 wet or however many, I think 60 was my cap, 65. But either way, first 2 years, I was
yeah.
definitely out in the field a lot
Oh yeah,
because,
yeah,
and it was a problem. It actually hindered us because people obviously want Erik every time. Oh, Erik, Erik, Erik. And we had to be like, no, but we have some joker you've never heard of. And it was stunting our
yeah,
sales process. It was causing friction, basically.
yeah,
So I deleted myself off of everything and just completely stopped taking gigs once I could afford that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. You got to grind until you
It
can
definitely
make the move.
took a grind. It was stepping stones to get there. I mean,
Oh yeah,
fuck,
yeah, yeah.
I literally worked in a strip club prior, like through all of this building, hiring my first like 2 or 3, 4 DJs. I worked in a strip club Monday through Thursday because I didn't know how to get DJ gigs on those days otherwise. And I needed all the money to buy the equipment and whatnot.
Yeah,
I didn't have much income. I mean, DJing in bars
yeah,
sucks. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so I was doing that. I would bring my laptop and be working on DJ Event Planner while I'm mixing and talking, being like, next up is Jeff or whatever the hell,
Yeah.
like that. Working on my automations and emailing clients and booking Dow, building that while I'm funding it. It was the grind for 3 years
Yeah.
probably. I was
But
24
but but
7.
you but you put in the work, and that's what really shows in the way that you do it, because now, like you said, people don't know, oh, Erik Massengale runs this awesome company. They just know
The
Dowk
company is
events.
awesome, right?
Yeah.
That was the goal, just
Yeah.
separate.
Which I think is a super smart way to go about it, especially if you want to do a multi-op, like just making sure that the name
Mhm.
is what sells and not the headlining DJ. Again, not that the headlining DJ, like SCE, like Jenna, yes, like he's the
There's
focus,
nothing
all that.
wrong with how they do it. I'm not. It is
Yeah,
what it is. It's just different. I just
yeah,
don't want to. I don't know how they have the time. Honestly, that is commendable in a way. I have no idea
yeah,
how they have the time. I'll do 2 weddings a year just because I get like f***ed over kind of, and I am livid when it happens. It's not even
when
that
you
I
gotta
hate
go out.
DJing. I'm actually once I'm there DJing, I'm like, this is nice and fun. But I'm pissed that I had to get out of my
All the
house,
lead
leave
up,
my
yeah.
family, and just whatever
You, you had to go out and do it, yeah. No,
uh-huh.
for sure. And so, like, just kind of going back to the origins and everything. So, where did the name Dow Oak event, like, where did that come from? What was that? Just a brainchild? Was that something near to where you guys are? How
So
that happened?
Dow is my middle name, and like Erik Dow Massengale, and Oak. I don't know if you've ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street. He like talks about why he calls it Stratton Oakmont, and because he's like, we're just a bunch of jokers, but with that title, we're trustworthy sounding. And literally, that's why I just added the word oak to the end because it wasn't long enough.
Okay,
Dow Oak events. There was no
there you
further.
go.
I thought it sounded classy, and all the other DJs in my market, at least, and the Facebook world. It's like mix premier lux entertainment spin ultra, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it just sounded different
No,
basically.
for sure. For
um
sure it does. And
it's
like the thing I kind of like about the events part is it's not just, oh, we just do DJing, we just do this, we just do this.
which
We do
actually I
events.
kind of regret in a way. I might not regret it forever, but in the moment, sometimes people try to book us thinking we're a venue. Even though, yes,
Sure.
we've written it everywhere. I don't know what else we could possibly have said, but
Right.
because we don't have, it's not Dow Oak DJ and photo booth company like everyone else would have
Yeah.
done, which did kind of fuck us in the time being. But my plan was to add everything, so that's why I did it. I didn't want to be
Sure.
stuck to
So do
DJ.
you want to do a venue someday?
No, not really. Not
Okay.
anymore.
Okay.
Not now that
Yeah.
I'm deep in the industry and I kind of know the labor and
Yeah.
the numbers and whatnot. I don't have any interest in that.
Yeah. I thought for a long time it'd be really fun to own a venue. And to be honest, I think it would still be fun to own a venue. You get it's just like, man, those are tough numbers.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I've walked a handful of like like not houses, but places that are trying to sell to me and to
yeah.
start a venue. And it's just never right. It's always
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is going to be millions of dollars of debt. And I'm going to be working my way out of this for 10 years before technically can turn a profit. And
Right. And that's what I mean. Like the numbers are tough. Like you
we
gotta
started,
be,
we did Dow Oak off of zero debt. I didn't take a loan at any point,
yeah.
still not on a loan. So that's hard to backpedal and put yourself into debt to step out of when you don't have to.
Well, and it's also, I feel like DJs, photo booth companies, that sort of thing, they're even a little bit more like recession proof than an event venue.
Yeah.
Like,
Hell yeah.
if
Through
you
COVID, oh my
if
God, we were, especially in Redneckville where we are, they were
right,
like, yeah, we're going to do that anyways. Like, y'all are out of your minds. And we were good
yeah,
with it, of course. We were trying to breathe and put food on the table. So, all right. Well,
absolutely.
um,
Yeah, and you don't just like, oh, I got to make that $7,000 mortgage payment this
right.
month, and I haven't had an event, I haven't had an event in 6 months.
I'm pretty
It's like,
sure our numbers, like if you were to be like, oh, I dropped XYZ through COVID, we still did probably 30% of what we would have done. So that was a lot better than most people that just
oh
went
yeah,
straight up zero.
yeah. I honestly, where I am in Iowa, we were pretty lucky too. Like they lifted the restrictions pretty quick here. It's a fairly red state, and
Right.
so it was. I mean, I was doing full weddings by May. You
Right.
know, and when I mean like full weddings, no restrictions. Like wear a mask if you want to, but you don't have to.
That's crazy.
So
That's funny
yeah,
that it's
no,
funny
you
that
go ahead.
that's crazy. That's so wild to
Right.
even say, but thank God we're away from that.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy that we're away from that. But like, I just know how lucky I am because I know so many people. Talk to so many different DJs. Just like, oh yeah, I didn't do a gig for 18 months.
So
It's like
wild.
that's insane. Even if it's not your only primary source of income, which for a lot of people it is, but even if it isn't, that's still a long time to not have an event.
Yeah.
So
That's when I really automate your DJEP website launched, or it didn't launch then, but that's when it exploded. Is
really
because it
took
was
off.
the perfect product for a DJ company. It was literally like too good to be true, and it had never been sold before, and all of a sudden it was available.
Right.
I finished it like a couple months before COVID happened, so it was brand new. Um,
Yeah. So did you just kind of start that just because you're like, hey, I really like DJP. It works really well for me. I figured out how to do this, and now I can market a way to help you do it? Or how did that come about?
I didn't even realize it, honestly. I was using it just like my own program. I made it and was
Yeah.
using it myself and just didn't realize it was extra. Basically, I didn't know that it was better than the next one or whatever because I did it basically my first go. Uh, and I was at Mobile Beat before it shut down. It was like the last year of Mobile Beat, I think, in 2018 and or 2019, something like that. And Ryan Jordan, think I think it was Ryan, but
Okay.
some dude I was eating with and basically noticed and was like, "Well, show me what you're doing there. We use that. What's all this?" And
Yeah.
got talking. Um, I was with Bar, the YouTube bar, and same thing. He was like, "Dude, sell this to me. Like, you have to figure out how to sell this." Because I was like, I mean, I can help you, but I don't know. And he was
Right.
like, it basically, I can't remember who put the idea in my head to package it and sell it, but it was told I needed to do that, and so I did.
Sure. Well, I mean, you were solving a problem that a lot of people didn't realize that they had.
Right. It was it. I mean, yeah, it was just like I said, yeah, I'm glad I came up with it, but if I hadn't, I would have been just as happy it existed. And that was what everyone agreed on. It was like truly the answer. And
Yeah.
it was cheap. It wasn't, I mean, people were able to buy it for at the time $500. It's only 700 now, but I sold it for 500 to start and could save $100,000 in admin cost a year just for that.
Yeah.
And so duh, that's it. There was
Right.
no more to it than that.
But I
And
mean,
as
but
soon as Joe Bunn and Janai got it, it was over. All they had to do was talk about it, and it was
yeah,
done.
they just have to say the name. Yeah, for sure. No, and that's really awesome that you're able to do that and kind of branch it off and use the success from the different things that you've had to kind of keep
A
moving
snowball
everything
rolling.
forward.
Yeah. Well, fuck, I met Greg. I don't know exactly at what point through all of this I met Greg, but it was a Facebook relationship through the DJ event world. I'd never met Greg in person, and me and him started the New Jersey branch for Dow Oak.
Yeah.
That was my plug up there, and it would have never happened if it weren't for all of these random little things and Facebook feuds. Honestly, you see me trolling Facebook, but that actually got me a connection. So
Yeah. Well, like let's kind of go off on that because we can come back to the the automate stuff here in a second, but like I that's kind of where I want to talk about how different you are. Like so Dalek events you started and you're in North Carolina, correct?
North Carolina, yeah.
Yeah. And but you have one in like you have franchises now.
It's not see like I'm
Well,
the
I
sole
know it's I know it's not
owner of
exactly
everything.
franchises, but
Yeah, it depends on what you call it, but yeah, we have different locations.
yeah. And so how many different locations do you have now?
Well, we have like 3 hubs, but each hub covers multiple states.
Sure.
Well, one doesn't, but it just depends on how you look at it. We have
Right, right,
three.
right, right.
We have 3 different DJ event planner accounts. How about that?
There you go. Okay.
That's how we sort it.
Yeah.
We got North,
Sure.
we got South, and then we have Rochester, New York. For whatever reason, that one is its own entity.
Yeah. So how many total events did you do in 2024?
Uh,
Rough estimate, do you, if you
a
have any idea.
thousand, roughly 1,000 weddings.
Okay. That's a big number. Like I think for some people and even for me like it's kind of hard to wrap your head around that. Like, cuz there's a lot of very successful DJ companies that I know of who will do 150 or 200 weddings in a year with all their things like that's 4x what
Yeah,
very successful companies do, which is kind of crazy.
it's funny too because like I hear that, and I'm not like I'm the king of toot my own horn, and that's a character default for sure. But like it's so crazy because like as I sit here and we do that, last year I took the year off of work. Like I almost took a whole year off. And yeah, I mean I had to do day to day submit payroll, and I just let the admin, like the salesperson, run the whole thing because I was building a house. I like set aside a year to build a house with my dad. Um,
Yeah.
and that's the year we did all. It was just it's the automations. That's all I'm even saying. The automations plus yes, you need your person to run the automations and whatnot, but it's such
Yeah.
minuscule amount, and we cranked out 1,000 and we got great reviews through it. It was easy. My point is it's easy once you get
Yeah,
there.
once you automate it and get your process,
Once you have your
once you
process,
get your ducks in a row.
the processes that we use and have in place make 1,000 weddings easy. We actually talk about that all the time. We're trying to figure out that Google, like, how much does a booking cost me, and then how much can I take that and expand it while with that number not getting skewed. And we're getting there. Like, I know right now in the South, at least, it takes $175 worth of clicks before I get booked, guaranteed. So if I know that, I don't know if that's expensive. I don't know if that's not expensive.
Right. I just know what it is.
But I know it's a fact, and I can work with a fact,
Yeah.
And so why not do 5,000 weddings? That's my, like, if we can do 1,000, if that's it.
Yeah, it's just figuring out, okay, like you said, it's also being able to scale responsibly and
You can't,
not
if you
stupidly.
get ahead of yourself, yeah, you'll absolutely, that's just different. But we've been real exponential growth, our first year was 2018.
Yeah.
So it's real exponential gig count and price.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Because you're not just doing DJ stuff. You also have a photo booth thing, right?
we're just like every other DJ company. We do DJs, photo booths, and lights. We don't do production. We don't do big production. How about that?
Yeah.
We have tube lights. We have up lights. We have the DJ furniture if you pay for it. But we're going out. Our DJs go out with a facade and 2 tops and a ceremony rig. It's very, it's just, we call it. Yeah, that's great. That's what I used to say all the time. We call it the standard package. We actually degraded the name of the package because it sounded too good. We were like, we just want to call it something basic as so that our DJ furniture packages really stand out when you put some made up title on it.
Sure. So do you have like bun booths, or what do you have?
We actually only have one, and we use Danny Max. Not that there's anything wrong with Buns stuff, but we just happen to use Danny Max.
Okay.
We use him for all of our photo booths, all of our anything he makes.
He makes a fantastic product.
And
I own one too. So
he himself is just a great person, also.
Oh,
so
1,000%.
I'm very supportive of that.
I'm also, his wife is awesome too. I talked to her. Obviously we see each other at all the different shows all the time.
Shows, yeah.
Iris is just she's wonderful too.
Yeah, I've only talked to her briefly, but she's always super nice.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, and like you said, Danny's just amazing. It was actually funny. So my friend and I went up to Midwest DJs, and it was one of the first DJ shows that Danny was at, and we just fell in love with the booth, and we bought them. We were a couple of the first ones to have them.
They're so light. It's unique. It is unique, even though I will say I'm the first to say none of that shit is unique. But I like that, and his photo booths is what got me in, because we have a big photo booth op, and his iPad booths were just undeniably the best option. Yeah. The salsa booth was half the price.
Yeah, I have his photo booth also the iPad one, and I have a traditional photo booth. I've been holding on to it for a couple of years, and still goes out and does all that, but I just want to move everything to digital. I don't want to mess with prints anymore. I don't want to mess with.
We're redoing our photo booth op from the ground up. That's like our number one task in the moment. The admin.
That's 2025 goals.
Yeah, and we added DSLR booths and just the 360 booth. All that's brand new, but we have so much clientele for it. We're stupid for not doing this 4 years.
Just leaving money on the table.
Leaving money on the table, just turn it away. We get AV offers all the time, small AV offers, and we just turn it away. We're like, call Rick Weber, because they're real into corporate crap.
Yeah, for sure.
And call Rick Weber, but it's really just like leaving money on the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you guys could do. Obviously, you have enough equipment to do all that. It's just not necessarily the quote unquote right equipment for certain things.
It was also just nerve-wracking, because like when we opened New York and New Jersey, Philadelphia and all that, it was like, okay, so if we sell it here, do we have to sell it there? It's like it
Right.
adds this layer of like confusion.
Sure.
And we've since gotten the dust is settled for, oh my God, we have 8 states under us, like whatever. The
Yeah. Yeah.
dust
Yeah.
is settled, and now we kind of do know how to, sell certain things here but not there, and it not be weird.
Right. So, and I don't know. Maybe it's just my thinking of that. But is there anything as far as, like stuff that you have you thought about that in other ways? I guess I'm trying to figure out how to ask it. Like, is there something you're going to offer maybe in the New Jersey market that you don't think is going to work in that North Carolina market?
Absolutely.
And so, how are we gonna?
Absolutely. Wait,
Yeah.
New Jersey, we sell everything. We just
Right. Yeah.
we short
Jersey's anything and
we
everything.
quickly realized if you don't sell everything, you're nothing. So
Yeah. Nobody wants
even
it.
if we don't literally sell it, we have to say we sell it. And if
Right.
someone wants to buy it, we have to figure that out.
And then figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do that in Jersey. Here,
That was my first. I don't know, 4 years of owning a DJ business. Oh yeah, I can do that. Oh,
and
I'll
you
do that.
you realize it's after a couple of years, you realize how dumb it was to do that. Just like, oh yeah, no problem. But in Jersey, it's just different because like in Jersey, if they want like the dancing on the cloud thing, it's common. It's so common. Here in North Carolina at least, that's just not it's done, but it's just we're not leaving money on the table by not doing it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
same
almost
same here in
more
Omaha.
it's more
Yeah,
stress
no,
than it's worth having the
yeah,
machines and whatever that
yeah. Nobody requests it,
is.
and if I do, like I can just go rent it from
Yeah.
somebody.
We just I have to look at everything from a logistics standpoint now. Like
Yeah,
we got these DSLR booths, and I was really like, okay, expert guy, what do I buy? Here's the boxes I need checked, like
right.
small in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
car, unbreakable virtually as close to that as possible. I need it on an iPad because I can't do Windows. People are dumb, and just
yeah,
a couple things. And I was guided the direction and
yeah.
whatever.
So, do you guys use Curator?
We are on SnapPick. I haven't been
Okay,
convinced yet to switch to Curator, but I actually messaged James to have him convince me. Hopefully, we'll see.
sure.
We've been on SnapPick for years.
Yeah. Well, when I got the iPad booth, Danny recommended Curator to me, and I've always used it. And it's been super easy for me. I like it.
SnapPick's
Um,
great too. I'd imagine they're
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
similar, you know.
Yeah, like I said, I can't say because I've never, but I'm sure. I mean, as popular as it is, it can't be bad.
Yeah,
So
well, that's like the two iPad apps. I don't even hear
yeah,
another in the mix ever. It's always some like someone tried to save money shit. No one cares about that one. Like,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
that one's sketchy. Once you're a true photo boother, you do not save money. That is an error.
Yeah, 100%, true. And what you said just a second ago is kind of a big reason I want to kind of get out of my quote unquote traditional photo booth. It's because it runs darkroom, which I got to have Windows and a license
But
for
that
and all
plug
that
and
kind of
play,
crap.
that's attractive.
It's
That's an
just
attractive reason for darkroom and Windows. Just plug it right into the printer. It's a headache in itself, but
yeah.
whatever.
So that's what I just want to get, and I think I want to get another iPad booth, and then I want to get another. I want a DSLR booth just because I want to be able to offer those higher quality pictures and all that.
We're in
But
the same boat.
it's still just gonna be all digital. I'm not. I think I just need to get away from the whole
We have the
print thing.
booths, but really the goal with all of the new additions is to push our leads' eyes towards the one we want you to buy, which is the one we've always sold. It's just the selfie booth, just the iPad standalone, no print booth. We want you to buy that one. I know it's cheap as fuck, but the margin is the same. So I need you to
No,
buy that one.
exactly. Well, and let's let's be totally honest. 95% of people are used to taking photos with this anyway, which is the same as which is pretty close to the same as an iPad one. So it's not a huge difference between that and a, you know, especially on a photo this big.
Yeah, I
You know,
think I think the people wanting prints, they want that beautiful quality. Like if you print
yeah,
with an iPad booth, it's just counterproductive. Yes, I realize I can charge almost the same price, but I'm not so sure that those leads are leaving the gigs screaming your name.
yeah. I don't feel nearly as I.
I'm
I
not
don't know that I could do that off an iPad booth.
confident in my product. I'm
Yeah,
not
I don't
doing
think I
it.
could do it.
We've been printing iPad booths for 6 years and
Yeah.
no errors. I mean, not no errors, but like all good, no complaints. But to say the word of mouth has exploded would just be lying, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that that is the reason.
Well, and the other thing that I've always kind of noticed about that is like what I don't, and the biggest reason I want to get away from it isn't even it's the headache of going with the Windows computer, this, that, and the other thing. But the other thing is like the cost of media just keeps going up, and being able to print and doing all that kind of stuff, it just keeps, and especially if you don't want to update a printer, because I got a really awesome DMP, but if is it going to be out of, they're not going to start making the media in a year and a half,
Yep.
and then I got, okay, well, now I got to buy
It's just
50
all
boxes of
sorts of
media, so
bullshit.
I don't have to
There's
buy another
literally
printer.
like it's like a scroll of for the DSLR booths, and then the iPad booths are just fine. It's like, oh my god, come on, please. Like,
I know. It's just like that's just ridiculous.
uh-huh.
So, um, so as you're thinking about all those different things that you're doing throughout everything, is there something that you guys don't currently offer that you're really like, you know what, I think this would be a really cool thing, something that maybe other multi apps aren't thinking about, or something that are offering that you'd like to offer, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'll say it's never something no one else is thinking of. That's the rarest thing
Right.
in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
world, and that's too good to be true. But I would like to get into group headshots because that would unlock photography. It's another step towards opening the door to just adding photography as a service, and that would be maybe if we landed it right, we could double our revenue with an addition like that
Oh yeah.
if done right. Now that would be a crazy and awesome, but that's what I want to add so that we can at least open that door. But we just added all these other, so like
Yeah.
one thing at a time.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously, 20, like you said, 2025 is all about photo boosts and all that. So it's just thinking about, you hate being that way, but it is like, okay, awesome. Okay, what's the next thing? Because, and I've been around, like I've been DJing, having my own business since 2017.
Uh-huh.
And so it is always that thing like, okay, well, I got to keep relevant. What else can I do, and how else can I change? And,
That's just
that's kind of
always
when,
the thought. It's always what's next. It's what's next,
yeah,
what's next, what's next. And that's what I was saying. Like I didn't do it all the last year and a half. And now I'm real back in that grind mode. Thank God. Um, yeah.
yeah. Well, and I think, like that's where I went to kind of, because they had done it obviously a long time before that, but that's kind of when I went to the furniture, like got the Danny Max, I got a Toad booth, all that. And good, bad, or indifferent, it's not super popular where I am having DJ furniture, so it's still
Same.
kind of a unique thing,
Yeah.
um, which is helpful for myself and the one other DJ company around here. Chaos, they do it too. They're about, but
Is
we're really
that
the only
Jesse?
ones. Yeah, Justice Swanson. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, so it's like we're kind of lucky in that way that there isn't a ton of people doing it, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I've had these same kind of looks for like 3 or 4 years. Like,
Hmm.
what do I need to do to switch it up and change it?
Our clientele is rarely trying to get that. Like our clientele, we kind of are in that like $1,500 or $2,000 price range.
Yeah,
And yeah, we could always give it to them for free. There are plenty of DJs giving that price range for free, but charging for it, a lot of our clients don't. They'll take the basic, but every once in a while, of course,
yeah,
your person that for whatever reason is searching on the Knot and Wedding Wire, even though they have a monstrous budget, which, as you know, that's not usually the deal.
yeah.
Uh,
Not usually.
right. But we wind up on the phone with them and they've got a $5,000 budget. And we're like, everything we sell is only 2,500 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So let's add a bunch of to just eat these people's budget if they're trying to spend it anyways. So
right.
that's when we added the Danny Max booth. Is just like, all right, here's like $800 we can upcharge, whatever. And it's
Yeah,
very rare. We only have one, but one
right.
day it might expand, and that's fine too.
Yeah. So which Danny booth do you have? Sorry, I didn't ask that before.
We have the Infinity,
Okay.
uh, like what normal sized Infinity. I don't know if there's a bigger
Yeah,
one.
the L.
It was a mistake. I wish I hadn't bought that one. Not, it's great, it's awesome, but it's an error. And for us, I should have bought the small, like whatever that.
Oh, sure.
That's I don't think it was out when I bought it though.
Okay, yeah. I'll
Out-
say he just launched a new one at Marquee last year. That really small one.
that's the one. That's the one I should
That's
have.
one you need to have. And so if you do go and expand on from that, maybe getting the
No
well,
chance. That is the absolute one. And I'm actually even looking. I'm always making a post looking for a smaller one, seeing if one slipped through the cracks and I didn't notice it.
oh sure,
You
yeah,
know, because they need to get that into one flight case, and then we're done.
yeah. I know that he's always working on stuff. Some of the different things is you got to weight and molding and all that kind of stuff because that is one thing that is bad about the because I have the original Infinity XL because I'm 6'6". I'm a big guy. Like I need that presence.
Uh,
And so one thing that was always bad about it is that top came in a wooden flight case. Like it is
nope.
heavy.
Nope.
And kind of a to move around.
I
But
bet.
I mean, it looks great and it's awesome. And so but I also took the approach of oh my god, why can't I think of his name right now? Um, Nick Spinelli, sorry. Um, and I just went and had a custom flight case made.
Hmm.
I mean, again, it's wooden, but then I don't have to take it apart.
Right. Yep.
I just slide it in, and then I have speakers that slide underneath, and I can just close it, and my whole setup's in one flight case, so
Mhm.
makes it a lot easier.
I used to do that for my DJs, like drill like microphone boxes up under their laptop sliders and just make it all in one. And then now I don't, that's like not my, it's like on them to figure that shit out now because
Yeah,
we sub DJs sometimes. It's not all W2 DJs anymore.
right.
So we had to kind of lighten up on certain things. It's funny when you have to mentally lower the quality of your product in order to move forward. That's pretty like, oh,
It's unfortunate, that's for sure.
that's
And
business
again,
right there, though.
yeah, it is, but it's also like you said,
Was the only choice. It was either that or don't expand. And so,
right.
well, the day we get complaints about quality, okay, obviously we're going to revisit and fix it. But if we don't get complaints about quality, it must not be too low.
Right. Well, and this is kind of the same thing I come across with like when I'm talking to everybody on the forums and everything, because I'm always chiming in like, because there's,
Yeah.
you've been on, there's
Yeah. Haven't you
infinity plus
heard of?
infinity speaker questions and all this, what's the best speaker and what's the best thing? Well, it really depends on what you have. And then, when somebody chimes in with, oh, don't waste your money on those, just get Alto. I got the 215s for 12 years and they've been great. It's like, you're not wrong that it has worked for you for that long, but you also have to remember that most people, when they're coming to your event, whether you have a $30,000 sound system or a $350 sound system, it's probably better than the one that they have in their house. And so that's what they're comparing it against. And I said the same thing, like, and it's a few years ago now when they first came out, but I had never got complaints about my sound before. But then when I switched to the Evolve 50s, I
You
did get compliments.
compliments. Yes,
Yeah.
right. Anytime we bring out that Danny Max booth with the two, like all the fancy shit, people are absolutely stopping and letting you know that's the sickest thing they've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
that's, and that, sure, you get your high fives, DJ, you're killing it. And you're literally on Instagram, chilling, playing a mix for dinner.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know. It's just yeah, it's that. That's it. I don't have anything
All
to add.
right. So you've got everything, you're automating, you got the deal, you got all the Danny Mac stuff. So let's walk through like what is your typical loadout? So you said that you have a lot of things. So are you pardon me, are you basically universal across the board like what controllers are you guys using?
So if we
I know
buy
you
the
were a tractor guy
controllers.
before, so
Yeah, if we buy the controllers for people, we're buying them tractor controllers. If I own the gear, it's all tractor and MacBook, Audio Technica. Just we have the stuff that we, but if it's a sub DJ, yes, you have
whatever
to
you
check
use.
the boxes of certain things, but that's not one of them.
Yeah,
I don't care if you DJ off an iPad. That doesn't make a difference to me. Like I would probably be like, hey, are people cool with that? That would be
yeah,
weird, and that doesn't happen. But I've never told someone they can't. You know what I mean?
right. Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So you got tractor control is a specific one or just
We the S2 just for pricing reasons. It has jog wheels. It does all the stuff, and it's the cheapest.
yeah, okay.
We have an S4 in that large booth just because the S2 is like tiny and weird.
Yeah,
Uh,
it looks kind of goofy in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yet again, honestly, all that is just sometimes I am a DJ at heart, and that difficult pill to swallow, I don't swallow it that day, and I buy the expensive, fancy thing that we didn't need.
Yeah. No, hey, that's all right. And you said the Auto Technica, I'm assuming the 3004th gens.
Yeah, yep,
Yep.
yep.
Okay. And then what are we rolling? What are we rolling speaker wise?
K12s all day.
K12s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll use Evolve. Wait, no, the battery powered one. What's Everse?
Everse.
Yeah. We have Everse, uh, a couple Everses just that they can grab if they need it. But they use K8.2s for ceremonies before the
Okay.
Everses got released.
Sure. Gotcha. And so you're rolling all those, and then is there a specific facade that you're rolling with, or
I actually really like this company called Cedars Link. It's like a shit facade. It's the shittiest one could find. But they don't. You could. We've had them for years. They're only like $120 or something.
okay?
But if someone doesn't have a facade, and I'm like, if you want to work for me, you have to buy gear. I don't like to say that to people, so I'm like, but here it is. It's this cheap, shitty one. It's fine.
Well,
Like it
and
does
it's
the job.
also if they're just like, oh, I have to have this anyway, and it's $100, but then
I
if it's
usually
with
I'll
Skink,
buy
which
it
pays
for
more, then
yeah, just sometimes. And like the dudes in New York, I just sent them a couple facades. It wasn't that serious.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Even though they own their gear, I was like, all right, you need this. I'm just going to send it to you, whatever. I was like, buy the next one when you break it. That was the agreement.
yeah, sure,
And but they're shitty and they're fine. They're just small. They fit around a 4-foot table only, but it blocks the ugly. So whatever.
yeah, and that's really all you're trying to do,
Yeah,
you
and it
know.
just prevents
Um,
the picture.
yeah. So are you scrim on stands or not?
No, that's terrible. No.
Hey, I did it at one point, so I
Hey,
get it.
I've done it once and it was such a nightmare. I was like, this takes forever. And it's like, it was also like summer and humid and gross. And they immediately reflected that. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is some bullshit.
Yeah,
You
no,
roll
for sure.
around with the TP.
Yeah, well, and like I didn't hate it for some things when I was putting it on, but then again, it was really good and I liked it a lot for like a year and a half or 2 years. And then I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore.
Uh-huh.
But that's when like people started going to like the gravity. I went to like the gravity stands and the evolves, and so I didn't really need them for anything. So,
Things have come a long way, even since I started doing this, really.
oh yeah, same with me. Like,
Well, we started honestly. If you said 2017, that I'm looking at DJ Event Planner, and that was my first year DJing weddings. We hired people at the end of 2017. That was like when we became a multi-op. That last like
yeah,
month.
gotcha. So yeah, so you've had your glow up a little bit more than I have. I'm still just myself. So, but I also don't know. I don't have like I looked at doing DJEP and I looked at all the automation stuff and to me it was just like, man, that looks like it's too much work for what it's worth for just me. Um, so I was like, I don't know if it's gonna work. Like maybe that was a mistake, and maybe if I would have done it and had got that discount from a couple years ago, had you automated for me, it could have worked a little bit better, but
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? All good. So we're doing that, and so what are you seeing like? What are things looking for you guys for 2025? Is there anything that you guys are noticing with with the industry or your bookings or any cool new trends or anything that you're seeing coming out that you're excited to jump on board with?
Not new shit, even though, yeah, like we did step into the new photo booth world, and that's like really our big goal. We changed a lot about the whole how the admin side of everything works, like everyone's role, and it just like recently drastically changed. So we're kind of like tightening the screws there, and
Okay.
trying to continue like to hit our goals while doing it. And then I would imagine 2026 or 2027 we start trying to open more branches,
Okay.
instead of
So how do you
expanding the services, just expand the radius.
just go bigger reach?
Uh-huh.
Sure. You have ideas of like where you want to go?
It's usually people that reach out to me about it because I have my agreement for people. You know, I know what it looks like now. If we do that for someone's area, um, so it just kind of depends. And yeah, I'm not gonna probably entertain Iowa, or like,
Oh yeah, yeah no, no,
but
no.
well, I'm just giving an example,
Yeah, sure.
where it's not just like a ton of business for up for grabs, but like Chicago or Dallas or just busy areas, maybe.
Yeah, that have a few thousand events all the time.
Hmm.
No, totally get that. Um, so the last thing here, just kind of like talk about is, so do you know how you kind of first heard about NLFX? How you first heard about kind of what we do or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Stowe being tagged all across life. Honestly, I feel like Ben Stowe has such a good reputation in the DJ world that people will actually yell at you if you shop elsewhere and you publicize that. You
Yeah,
know, like if I'm trolling and I'll act like Amazon is a small business and I'm supporting that small business, obviously being sarcastic.
yeah,
Someone would literally hop on there, tag Ben Stowe, and be like, you should shop through him. And I'm like, I was joking. And it's like, I'm like probably in the messenger with Ben Stowe privately, but
yeah.
or I might have bought it. I don't know, but you know what I mean. And
Right. Yeah.
that's where I heard of NLFX and the trade shows.
Yeah.
I actually thought that it was just Ben Stowe at first. I didn't really understand, and then I
Yeah.
started seeing at the trade shows.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy how many people know about us, but then don't really know everything that we do.
Hmm.
Um, which is we kind of say like maybe that's our fault a little bit. Like, hey, we don't tell anybody. We don't tell more people like more of what we do. Like with Dalek events, people are calling you about venues and things like that. Well, that's not really something we do, but we do
Hmm.
all these other things. Um, and so that's our whole thing. Everybody just kind of thought, oh, we just, you're just a reseller. You just sell, you just sell stuff online. It's like that's actually, one of the smallest portions of our business.
Really,
So,
I know you
yeah,
guys do custom work, but that's all I even really know of. Those two.
yeah. So we do custom work. So we, obviously make our own cables. We make patch panels. We do all that sort of thing. So we kind of call ourselves like the four-headed monster. So we have the retail business that everybody knows about. We actually go all over the country doing custom installs for churches, arenas, schools, all sorts of different stuff all over.
Uh-huh.
So that's another big part of our business. And then the other side is we do, obviously, we have our own production side because, Ben being Ben and a world famous sound engineer, like
Yeah, right.
he goes around and does everything. I think starting in April through November, almost one or two a weekend of different productions doing different stuff. Um, and then again, like the custom side, we have everything that we do, but um, like our custom side will do a lot of stuff for our install side.
Hmm.
Like we'll go in and we'll do a custom install somewhere. Well, hey, we need to make 400 panels for this building that we're doing this install in, so we got to do that side of it too. So And then we also have we have a full on music store in Bemidji, our headquarters.
Oh,
Um,
where is
so,
that?
Bemidji, Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah. Closer to Fargo and International Falls than Minneapolis. So it's
Uh-huh.
pretty far north.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like, full blown music store. Um, so we have our hands in a lot of different pots, and
Uh-huh.
we kind of, if basically we like to say, if you can plug it in and it makes sound or makes
Yeah,
any
we sell
sends
it.
any sort of
We
current,
do shit to it. Yeah.
we can mess with it. So yeah, we do a lot of different stuff. So
Cool. Yeah. No, I didn't realize that actually.
well, yeah. So I mean, if you ever have anybody down there, it comes to you and says, "Hey, I got this church who wants me to help upgrade their sound system. Let us know."
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
we do that all the time. And even if they just want to buy the equipment, like,
Uh-huh.
through you or whatever, we can make that happen. I got a guy right now who's just like, "Hey, my church wants to do this. They just want me to take care of it, and then they'll pay me. Can we just figure? Yeah, let's figure it out."
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we'll kind of build it so it works, and then he can just take it and then install it. So yeah, so all sorts of different stuff. But well, Eric, I know you got a lot of other stuff going on. I greatly appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
Um,
having me.
of course, man. Is there anything you want to plug while you're here? Your Instagram, your trolling Facebook, anything
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's trying to reach me, I'm most reachable on Facebook.
Okay.
I might be the only person you'll ever hear that from, but I prefer Facebook over
Yeah,
everything.
that's all
Um,
right.
yeah, if you're interested in automation packages for Simple or DJ Event Planner, automateyoursimple.com or automateyourdjep.com. Uh,
Yeah.
if you don't have automations, it will change your life, and that's not me being a salesman. It's just a fact.
Yep.
Um,
It just makes it work.
yeah, but
Well, and like just to give you an idea of how much of a game changer it is. So the episode that came out right before this is Brian McGann. You guys all saw it from Simple, and the man who created Simple even used Eric to do his stuff, and he's just like, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
changed the entire game."
I linked up with Brian and Andrew from Simple,
Yeah,
and we implemented my automation stuff into it, and it really actually it got the wheels turning on what it should
could
be. It
what it
actually
could do.
opened some doors to like, oh, this should just be changed like in the default coding of the CRM. And so it did help, bring it up. And Simple is always evolving. If you keep up with Simple, oh my God, talk about new features constantly and awesome
Well,
shit.
and that's one of the things that I love about Brian. Kind of like you in a way. Like, why can't this just work for everybody? Like it worked for me. Like, why can't this just work for everybody?
Yeah, yeah, they're
You
good
know?
people for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the first thing I'm going to mention if anyone asks me the difference between the two CRMs. I'm like, well, let's talk about customer service first.
Yeah, sure.
That's an easy win right there for Simple.
Yeah. Well, and
And I'm buddies with the DJ Event Planner people too. I'll defend them because people come at them a little much about
a
stuff
little
like
hard. Yep.
that. And it's not fair. They're being ridiculous, I will say. But Simple, they're definitely doing shit. DJP is not. That's a fact. That just is
Yeah.
what it is.
It just kind of comes down to what you're looking for in in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, awesome. Well, if you guys have either DJP or Simple, or you're thinking about getting either one of them, and you want to make it super simple, contact Eric and he'll get you all hooked up. So that's all we got for today. Thank you guys so much for joining in, and we'll be back next week with another great episode. Okay.
Thanks again for
Thanks
having
again,
me.
man. Have a good one, Eric.
Absolutely. Thanks. Bye.